How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're looking at some of the largest EV companies on the market right now. So we're going to go over Nikola, we're going to go over Workhorse, NIO, Hyliion, and Tesla. So these are companies that have been in the news so much recently. Their stock prices have done phenomenal over the last couple months, even just the last month. A lot of them have had news over the last week or so, some as of today. And there's a lot of fluctuation in these stocks today specifically. This is Monday that I'm recording this, so you're going to see it tomorrow. There might be some change from now until then, but I want to cover all the news. We're going to do a short little bit on each of them. And if you like this, please let me know. I was actually going to do a video similar to this, but less based on the news and more just judging the stocks against each other and the potential for the stock price to increase, some of their prospects going forward, the potential market that each of these companies can go into, and kind of comparing them on a PE ratio basis also. So let me know if you want to hear more on that. But today we're just going over the news for all these different companies and why they're fluctuating so much. If you don't mind hitting the like button, it really helps out the channel and it helps me out. And if you do want links to get 2 free stocks from Webull, you can use the link below. If you deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks, one worth up to $1,400. And they have promotions going on regularly for different deposit bonuses, so it's kind of cool. If you want to continue to invest, a lot of the time they will reward you for doing it. So first of all, let's look at Nikola here. Nikola is down 20% on the day, which is just a massive downturn. They've been down over the last couple days, honestly, over the last couple of weeks. And if we look here, they were up to about $75 a share, and now they're down about 48%. I've done videos before where I talk about how I don't really like Nikola as an investment. I think they're severely overvalued. If you look here, they're a market cap of about $15 billion, and they haven't sold a product yet. So the news that came out today was the company filed to sell 24 million shares. So at $40 per share, that's about $1 billion worth of shares. That dilutes the share price, and I think what is the big issue isn't necessarily that they're filing shares. You know, when a company does that, that's not always a bad thing, but it's the fact that they don't have a product and they're filing for these shares. So they're still focused on production and just R&D in general. They haven't sold their products. They haven't mass produced any products. They gave out the news a while ago that they were going to mass produce this truck. They're also going to get into the semi industry. The fact that they are issuing more shares and they have the potential to issue up to 53.4 million more shares. I think investors are just worried because, first of all, they have no income and they're diluting the shares like crazy still. So they are worth $14 billion and they still feel as though they need to raise more money. And this is something where I've talked about before. They run on hydrogen fuel cells, so they're not going to use the same network that Tesla uses or gas stations. They're going to have to build out this network to refuel these hydrogen fuel cells, and that's going to be very expensive. So that is something that I'm worried about too. This is not the end of them issuing shares. Like, this is just the beginning, and I see a long road ahead. Even if they become profitable, it's going to take a very long time. They're going to have to dilute their shares a lot in the meantime, and it's just something that I'm not comfortable with. But this is the news today that sent it down so much. They are issuing these 24 million more shares. Now, we're going on to Workhorse, and I'd like you to stay through the end because I think all these are super interesting. But Workhorse is one that I feel pretty strongly about. I like Workhorse. I think that they have a big potential in front of them. So just over the last hour, the stock is up 8%. Now, the reason that they're up big today is because they announced that they were closing $70 million worth of financing. So this is $70 million on a $1.1 billion market cap company. So a similar type of raise as to what Nikola is doing, but they were able to get this through financing. So they're doing this at a 4.5% interest rate compared to Nikola, who's issuing more shares. And as you can see, the market is reacting very positively to Workhorse. So they are much happier with Workhorse doing this than they were with Nikola issuing shares. I think this is really good because it gives Workhorse a lot more money for R&D and for production. They're working to get a huge contract right now, and if they do get this contract, they will have to be able to produce massive amounts of product. So I think this is great for Workhorse. I am glad that they could get it at such a low interest rate. I mean, that's really good for $70 million. and this gives them $110 million worth of cash. They're also in the electric vehicle space, but more in the final mile or last mile products. So they would deliver items for the last mile from when they are being delivered to your house. The next stock is NIO, and they are up massively on the day too. So they are up about 13% on the day. They've done really well over the last month. I mean, from their lows this month, they're up about 83%. They had a big day today because their rival Xpeng Motors raises $500 million. So you might ask, why would they be up if their competitor raised money? Well, they have a type of synergetic relationship. They're both EV makers in China, and they agreed to a deal in December that would allow Xpeng owners to recharge at NIO's high-speed charging stations throughout China. So they have a type of symbiotic relationship in China that will really help them out, and that's just such a big market anyways. I think that there doesn't have to be one massive player in that market. There can be multiple, and NIO is going to benefit from Xpeng getting that extra $500 million. And you can see the market, that is what they're reacting to today, being up about 13-14% so far. The next stock is Tortoise. So this is a company that is going to buy Hyliion, and they are down on the day. And they're a company that has not had any news this week or the last couple days. They are a company that I'm pretty bullish on. They can take semis that use diesel or gas and they can convert them into a hybrid. So I think that's awesome. They also produce semis, and their semis have a hydrogen fuel cell component to them, but they don't necessarily have to run on hydrogen. So it's great because it's kind of a hedge. So if Nikola or some other company builds up this massive network, they'll become much more efficient, but they don't have to do it themselves. So I think that's awesome. I think Tortoise already has a great product in that they can convert Class 8 or semi-trucks to hybrids. So I think that that's really awesome, and I'm pretty bullish on them overall. I'm not sure I like them at this current valuation. As you can see, they're up about 120% on the year, but they are down significantly from their highs. They're down about 32%. Now, the last company on here is Tesla. Tesla is a beast. Let's just be honest. They are one of the classic automakers in this space. They are really the best automaker for electrics, and they're up about 7 to 8% on the day so far. They've been up about 6% just in the last few hours, and they have their earnings coming out this week, so they're going to announce their earnings on Wednesday. We all are really excited, I think, to see what happens. If they produce a positive earnings, then they will be able to be included in the S&P 500. So I don't know how long that will take, but that is a possibility for them. You have to be of a certain size, $8 billion, and you also have to have 4 consecutive quarters with positive earnings, and this would put Tesla into that category. So a lot of the time when that happens, the share price gets boosted up from the hype of them being included, and usually it falls back down, but it does help overall because they will be included in a bunch of index funds. So when you think about your company-sponsored 401k or IRA, you would be able to buy some Tesla in your index funds if you follow an S&P 500 index fund, and that would give them a little bit of a boost because they would get more money into their shares. This is something that will be really interesting to see. They also have their battery day coming up here in a few months where they might announce their million-mile battery, which would be huge for them. I mean, this is something that a lot of companies have been trying to do, and Tesla is right at the precipice of it. They also have great technology in self-driving cars, and they're just really the leaders in the space. So all these other companies are trying to be the next Tesla, and Tesla is just trying to gain market share from the gas-powered cars or the ICE cars market. And I think that they'll continue to do this. They have the best technology. They're years ahead of their competitors, and it's going to be exciting to see them announce their earnings. So I'm looking forward to it. There are other companies that are working on electric cars, so this is something that makes me a little bit less bullish on the market in general, these EV markets. So we're up so big this year already, and all these different companies, they've just ballooned up in price. And I think some people forget that all the other car companies are working on electric vehicles. So if you think that Ford and GM and Chrysler aren't working on these, you need to do some research because they are working on them. They're going to already have the massive platforms to sell them and to market them that a lot of these smaller companies can't build out. So their electric vehicles are going to be all over the place once they get them to market. I think they're going to get a significant portion of the market share. So that is what I'm worried about when I see something like Nikola, where I talk to family and friends and they've never heard of Nikola. And not that that necessarily says anything, but the fact that everyone's heard of Chrysler, everyone's heard of Ford, everyone's heard about GM, the fact that they're going to build out these electric cars, they're going to get a lot of marketing for free from that, just in different magazines and different websites. I think that people are forgetting that they already have a massive market to sell these to. So I'm just a little bit cautious on some of these companies that have ballooned up in price so much and they don't necessarily have the tech or the production already set up. So Tesla was able to get in early enough that that wasn't an issue. Hyliion already has that because they've already been producing these cars. NIO has been doing this. Workhorse has been doing this. Nikola has not been doing this. They don't have their products out to market. So that's just something to be cautious of. So let me know what you guys think about this below. I really appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this was informative and got you some of the news that's been coming out recently. If you guys like this kind of stuff, please leave a like on the video and subscribe. I still have 77% of the people that watch these videos that aren't subscribed. So if you like this and you've seen my videos before, hit that subscribe button below. If you guys want the free stocks or if you want to join the Patreon where you can get in our Discord and you can talk about investments in real time, you can use the links down below too. I appreciate it and I will see you in the next video. Bye.